Now, when people hear that I became a caregiver, I think one of the questions that comes in their mind, even if they're not brave enough to ask it, is, when did you first know? When did you first know there's something wrong with your grandfather? And if you ask everyone who's had to deal with Alzheimer's, they all have a story about when they first really knew that something was very wrong with their loved one. And my story takes place on a birthday party. Now, Grandma and Grandpa always would come down for the grandchildren's birthdays. And this one was no different, except Grandpa was different. Now, usually when he came in, he'd have a joke or some kind of laugh to share with the grandchildren. He'd sit down and he'd talk with them and engage with them in a happy sort of way. But this birthday party, Grandpa wasn't so talkative. He seemed a little off. And then I noticed when he was sitting at the dining room table eating the meal with the rest of us, he was hunched in his chair, like everything going on around him was too much, like it was all an assault on him. And I noticed sometimes, halfway through eating, he would drift off in his own mind like a synapse broke, and he'd come back with a start to everybody around him like he didn't know what was going on. And then after the meal, he got up from his chair and he walked into the kitchen. And since he had been acting a little odd and a little uncertain and confused, I decided I better follow him and see what he needed. So I followed him into the kitchen and I said, "Hey, Grandpa, you need something?" And he turned to me quite agreeably and he said, "Oh, no, I'm all right. I just needed to go take a leak over in the corner over there." So I quickly redirected him to the bathroom, and he went and did his business properly in the bathroom. And he came back out, and a bunch of us went to sit on the porch and talk. Now, after a few minutes of sitting on the porch in a chair, Grandpa got up and he came back inside. Well, after the previous incident, I decided I better follow him and see what he needed now. So I went back inside with him and said, "Hey, Grandpa, what do you need?" He walked into the dining room, and on the dining room table there was a basket full of leftover dinner rolls, nice soft dinner rolls. And he took one out and he asked me to wrap it up for him. That seemed a little odd, but okay, I took it and I wrapped it in some paper towels for him, stuck it in a Ziploc baggie. He took it, thanked me for it, walked back outside, and he put that roll on his chair and he sat on it. He squished it right flat. Afterwards, I figured out what must have been going on in his mind. It must be his chair was a little too hard and uncomfortable. And he thought, "Gee, this chair is awful hard. I need something soft to sit on. Oh, that dinner roll I had at supper was so soft I could sit on one of those." Now, a healthy mind would immediately know that if our chair is not comfortable, we find a cushion to sit on. But Grandpa's mind was starting to slip, and so he thought of a dinner roll. Now, my grandfather was a very neat and a very proper man. All my life I had known him. He would have never said he was going to go take a leak in the corner, not even as a joke. And he certainly knew better than to sit on a dinner roll for a cushion. But that is what he did at that birthday party, and it was so different, so wrong from the grandpa I had known, that was the day I knew something was really, really wrong. That was the day I knew for certain that I was going to come to know a different grandpa, a grandpa who was going through something that was going to be very hard